Everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia Elizabeth, and I am so excited that you have decided to join me here for another Wealthy Wednesday series. If this is your first time viewing this video and being on this channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe if and only if you like what you've heard after listening to the video all the way through. If you are a returning subscriber, hey boo hey, I'm so happy to have both of you here with me today. Go ahead and grab a snack, get comfortable. We have several things that we need to talk about. So, don't know about you, but I woke up feeling really wealthy today. I want to encourage a couple of things before I jump into the layout of this video. If you're new to this channel, the point of this series is to talk about all things related to finances. I am starting at a $0 balance for everything that we're doing because I really want you all to witness someone learn and accumulate wealth. I want us to just explore that there are several ways to get to wealth, but here's one, right? I also want to cancel and debunk the mindset that we have to be ready-made. I think social media has put a lot of pressure on us to just have it. Like, people just have houses and people just have businesses and people just have tons of money saved, and no one's being transparent about their current destination to say, I don't know much about money. I don't have any money saved. I am living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how to be disciplined with my finances. And so I want to create a space for us to talk about it, for questions that seem dumb to someone else to be normal here. And I want us to really break down, what should we be doing to change our behavior? What do we need to do to change, the wealth in our family for generations to come? What are some resources that we can use? What are some of the mistakes that we make? Things of that nature. We are using Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money. This is not the only resource that we will be using, but this is the blueprint right now to start us out. I've read this book. I think he does a great job of breaking down simple concepts. I think that some of his values are in alignment with mine. And so this is just one source. I will share other ones as I come along or I come across them. But essentially what you're getting is someone who will be learning and sharing at the same time. And so the layout for the Wealthy Wednesday series, now that we are officially in July, I think will look like updates about where I am with my money and my debt, thoughts that I've had since the last video, and actual tips from books and things of that sort that I'm reading. So resources and things of that nature. And so let's get straight into it. The month of July and August, depending on your income, has been about saving $1,000. Dave Ramsey talks about having an emergency fund. The emergency fund with $1,000 is for things that will come up, but we don't know when they'll come up. So car accidents or car troubles, house situations, flooding, or medical bills. These things are inevitably in our future, but we don't know when. And so how many of us have gone to the dealership and dreaded hearing them say, hey, the cost of all the work that you need to your car is $600 or $750 or $900, and you didn't have it. And so now you're in a position where you're willing to risk your car, which is tied to your employment, which is tied to your money, all because you don't have a savings. Some of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us really just do not make enough. Let's just put it out there. And so we have to address the problem by calling it out. If you watched the last video, I mentioned that below in the description box, you will find a link to my blog. I've shared 10 things that you can do now to raise money, 10 side hustles. I will add more as I come across them. I try to be really honest about things that I would do or things that make sense versus just saying create a blog where you'll be able to make $10,000 in 9 months. Like, no. What can I do today if I want to really be serious about my finances to generate income? And so the first thing I'm going to tell you all is, with 8 days into July, today is July 8th, and I did receive a text message from my sister who was like, where you at with your money? I am $190 in the bag towards my $1,000 goal. And I've raised that money simply from tutoring. I just opened my tutoring, and it's not even the end of the week. I still have parent scheduling, but that is one deposit. In addition, I told you all that I picked up a second job, and I have not been paid from that one yet. So there's more to come. I believe that I will meet this goal this month. And I told you all that I was not playing about meeting these goals. And so if you are serious and ready to change your money situation, I am encouraging you to get on this ride with me. Go ahead and apply for a part-time job. Do not worry about who's looking and what people have to say, because there is nothing sweeter, and I'm sure of this, than being on the other side of debt, which is to be debt-free. There is nothing sweeter than actually learning how to make your money work for you. And so for a season, you may have to block people out. For a season, you may have to have tunnel vision because you have a goal in mind. And if you're trying to change things with not the religion, just the whatever your generational family has done when it comes to money, be the first. It's going to be hard, it's going to be weighty, but you can be the first to do it, and that is okay. And so I'm $190 in the bag in 8 days, and I am trying to get to a place where I actually can, raise this money even faster. Some of the thoughts that I've had since announcing this challenge is that, or not even this challenge, this vlogging series, is that one, the first week I went traveling. I went to North Carolina last week, and I'm going to be completely honest on here. I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is going to impact my goal. That's what I was thinking in my head. And what I realized was that I needed to have a plan in place. And so I want to speak to people who have travel plans coming up, people who have events coming up. This is not telling you to stop your life. I am not telling you that now that we're trying to save $1,000, or now that we're trying to, get to 3 to 6 months of expenses, or now that we're trying to pay our debt off, that you are supposed to go under a shell. That's not how I plan to get there. And I'm not encouraging you to do that. However, I will say, in order to get to the certain goals we have in place, similarly to a fitness goal, you have to plan accordingly. So I went out of town. After I sat down with, my expenses, I said, okay, here's how much I'm comfortable with spending. Here's how much I need to stay away from spending, and get home and get back on track. And so that's the first thing. I want to tell someone as well that you may have to set boundaries. You may have to tell some of your family and friends who mindlessly spend money. That means they always want to go out to eat. They always want to run into the store. You can't do it. Just say, hey, I have a goal. Be open about your goal. I know that if you're a private person, because I can be sometimes, that makes it harder, but be open about your goal. Begin declaring that you are going to reach this $1,000 mark, and then begin declaring that you are going to be debt free, so that your community can either get on board or get out of the way. This looks like some of the space is changing in your life, but that doesn't mean they have to. If people want to go out to eat, maybe ask them if they mind having a potluck at home where you all can cook the food you already have. If people want to do things like go shopping, maybe go to the thrift store, or you just go with them to the store and don't spend any money. Don't even bring your wallet, but it will look different because you have a bigger goal in mind. Another thing that I was thinking about, because I have also been on my health kick, my health journey, my lifestyle, if you follow this video, this YouTube, you have witnessed it, is that when we're trying to change our behavior, we should grace ourselves to ease into it. Now, let me just put this out there. If you are married or you have kids, this may be harder to do because your money is going multiple places. It is not just your money. Your children have things come up. Your spouse has things that come up. But if you can, even in those situations, grace yourself to ease into this journey. Do not try to tell yourself to not spend any money. That was my mindset in June. I'm like, okay, when July comes, I'm not spending any money. But I realized that is like the all or nothing mindset, and it actually hurts us when we do that. It's almost like going cold turkey. Some people do really well doing it, but most people don't. And what happens is they go cold turkey, they fail, and then they go all the way back to what they were doing before. So no progress was made. Instead, easing yourself into such a behavior change allows you to set yourself up to say, you know what? I have a goal, I plan to meet it, but here's some wiggle room while my behavior catches up with my mindset. And so I think that giving yourself an allowance will be really helpful. Because I recently did this vulnerability series on my page, I also know that I learned in the past week that when I'm bored, when things are going on in my life, one of the ways I navigate it, or even avoid navigating it, is to go spend money. It's so weird because baby girl is not wealthy. Let me not say that. I'm wealthy, but I'm not rich. So how are you problem solving spending money? But that is what it looks like when you're struggling with acknowledging what's going on, or you lack discipline with your finances. So that means always being at the store, buying stuff that you don't need, considering buying stuff you don't need, or you have already at home and you just want to spend money to feel better or to feel like entertained. Think about these things, because I'm like, when I was looking at myself last week, I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you even at the store? You don't need any more of this or any more of that. Go home. You know what I'm saying? And so even if it's like, I'm bored, okay, find something else to do. I want to move around. Go exercise. I would like to be around people. Call your friends. Like, figure out what you're doing so that you don't spend all this money mindlessly, right? So easing yourself into it gives you an allowance. Now, knowing me, I can be really competitive. What does that mean? That if I give myself an allowance and I go in a complete week without spending it, I'm going to deposit that towards my $1,000, and I'm going to be like, And so I know some of you are thinking, well, what's your allowance going to be? I haven't decided yet. In my head, I'm thinking $25. But when I say $25 out loud and I think of 4 weeks, I'm like, that's $100 that you could have saved. And so nonetheless, I'm going to give myself an allowance. I will announce that in the next video. I'm going to put that down. Announce allowance in next video. Okay? And then let's see. Oh, another goal that I gave myself is to eat the food in my house. So I know this is like common, and I'm not trying to be that person that tells you have to eat rice and beans for a month to get to $1,000. I think that is the mindset of people who really don't have much wiggle room, right? So I mentioned that I've been tutoring and that I also posted a blog with side hustles that you can do starting today, right? So if you need that, it's in the description box below. But if you don't have time to do any of the side hustles that I've mentioned or that are online, then it may look like you shaving your grocery bill, which leads to eating rice and beans for a month. It is not the only way to get to the $1,000. It's just a way if you don't have time to do anything else. If your schedule is just absolutely packed, you have to cut corners within the tank. So that might look like no cable, no Apple Music, changing your phone plan for the month, changing your diet for the month, canceling all subscriptions just to hit that $1,000, okay? And so I wanted to do updates. I told you all that I'm putting $190 into the bank for my $1,000. Thoughts, just share those with you. So traveling, boundaries with family and friends, planning for those events, easing your way into it by giving yourself an allowance, and having different goals such as maybe just eating food in your house. These are different things that I've thought about this week that I want to try to play around with, and those are things I'm sharing with you. The last step of the series that I want to lay out is that I want to still share resources from credible people such as Dave Ramsey, so that you also have information in the next steps. So in the last video, we talked about the emergency fund. The teacher and me wanted to make sure those who are visual learners understand what is happening. So the first step is to do the emergency saving, the emergency fund. I don't know if that's showing up in the way that you could read it. This is my first time holding any type of writing up on the camera, so if that looks backwards, I'm sorry. So the emergency fund means you save $1,000 first. That's what we're doing this month. After you have $1,000 in the bank for things like car accidents, medical bills, household emergencies, not furniture, not shopping, not trips, not birthdays, not events, those aren't emergencies. Things that are going to come up that can really throw you off of your budget and things of that sort. That's what this is. We're going to start attacking our debt. I did look up my debt number. I have not confirmed with all of the places that I've accrued debt to make sure it's accurate. So I will announce my debt in the next video. I'm also writing that down. And the reason why I want to share my debt with you all is because when I get out of debt, you will never be able to say that I wasn't transparent about where I started. So I don't mind sharing it with you. I don't mind telling you how much debt I've accrued because I don't plan to keep it. So there's nothing to be secret about, right? And then the third step is to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. So this emergency fund turns into this emergency fund. You always have $1,000 for random emergencies, but your next emergency fund really becomes 3 to 6 months of your expenses, which I mentioned in the last video. You need to be creating a list of where does my money go? How much money do I need in order for my home to function properly every month? So that's grocery, utilities, gas, miscellaneous stuff like pads and soap, dish detergent, right? Rent, any subscriptions that you absolutely need. I know I saw a video where someone said she absolutely needs music. It ties into her therapy. Paying for therapy. Any services that you need for your home to run so that you're at peace and things function properly. There are some things that we don't need, right? So I'm not telling you to cut these things, but just assessing where you can cut corners. You might not need cable. You may not need Netflix. You may not need Apple Music if it doesn't tie into your therapy. You may not need that gym membership. You might not need that fabulous shoes subscription, the Rent the Runway. Those things can be canceled for a season or two in order for your money to build. So you need to create a budget and you ask yourself, where is my money going every month? And what money do I absolutely need to run my house properly? Some people spend money on nails, hair, and feet. And I mean, for some households, that's a necessity. For other households, it is optional. You have to make that decision. But that is easily $200 put aside every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks that you could put into this fund that you're trying to raise money for. And so after you've gone through those steps and you figure out what your monthly expense is, the goal is to save 3 to 6 months of that, which typically, depending on where you live, can be anywhere between $12,000 to $15,000 a month. Some places is a little more expensive, so it can go up or double that, right? Your 3 to 6 months could be anywhere to $30,000 and higher, right? So here is my credible information for this video, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. The first thing that Dave talks about is getting a money market account. And so Dave recommends that your emergency fund be saved in a money marketing account with a good mutual fund company. Your assignment is to figure out what are some good money marketing accounts in your area that have good mutual funds. But as I was reading, I started to ask myself, well, what is this? And some of the things that I've learned about a money marketing account is that the amount required to open one is usually higher than your typical bank's saving and checking account. The reason why he has you open a money market account is because your checking and savings, one, is where you spend, in your daily expenses. You don't want to have $10,000 to $12,000 to $15,000 in that account just sitting because it's easy for you to just say, I just want to get these shoes. I see $15,000. Let me just move over $20,000. I can put it right back. No. Secondly, a money marketing account, your money is safer there. You do not get a return on it depending on where you do it because it's not an investment, but it is safe. So you are now going to research money market accounts. Okay? The second thing that Dave talks about that I think you should take into mind is the sinking fund approach. So some of us are still trying to get our wardrobe up. We want to buy things. If I'm going to share and be completely honest, I would like to buy an at-home office computer, like one of the desktops. I have a MacBook Air. I have an iPhone. So I don't need it, but I would like to see my videos kind of get a little more fancy. I'm working on publishing a book, and so I know that investing in another Mac product with more space and newer applications will allow me to expand in that way. But it is not a necessity today because I truly have more than enough. I truly have everything that I need. So it's not a bill that I have to take on. But if it's a purchase I want to make, because remember, the goal is to save money, build wealth, understand finances, and still live your life. What approach should we take? Well, according to Dave, he calls it the sinking fund approach. It's where you need to ask yourself, how much do I need to save? How long do I have to save it? And how much should I put away every month in order to get it? So for instance, let's say the computer that I want is $5,000. Because we are no longer encouraging debt. Did I mention that? I don't think I told you that in the last video. We are not swiping our credit card anymore. No. Because we're not promoting creating more debt, we are paying for everything full out in cash. I know many of you were like, oh, but good debt, no debt. How about that? Because we're trying to pay for things in cash, you need to do the old-fashioned way. $5,000, I have a year to get it. 5,000 divided by 12 months, and then I might even divide it by 24 payments. Boom, boom, boom. I will get this in a year. Or I'm trying to get it in 2 months. Is that feasible? Is it something I can do? So the sinking fund approach is taking what you need, like understanding what it is that you need, and actually asking yourself, how can I put money aside towards it? Okay? That is it for today's video. We've reached the 20-minute mark, which I really didn't want us to reach. But nonetheless, I hope that this was helpful. If you have not already, please subscribe. I'm super excited about this series because it's transparent, it's honest, it's free-flowing. And no one will ever be able to say when I become a billionaire that I did not demonstrate and share with you the things that I'm doing. I want everyone to join if they want. I want everyone to purchase this book. If you want to move faster than I'm moving, by all means do it. I want everyone to really get to the place where they are winning in their finances and they are not a slave to debt. And so I think if you follow along with me and do the things that I'm encouraging you to do, you'll be right there with me. Constantly, if you can, check my blog. I'll be posting thoughts on there. I'll post my notes. I'll post, things that I find out, things of the sorts. That information is in the description box. And I will see you all next week, same time, a little wealthier than we are today. Have a good day. Bye.